the intention by the ruling party to basically frustrate oversight efforts.
Yes. Talking of the parliamentary committees, and that rule of providing oversight, why would the ruling party want to dominate the committees while they are the ruling party and they need to be checked under normal circumstances so far as democracy is concerned?
Yeah, I think you have in part answered the question.
Yeah.
Why would the ruling party, which is supposed to be scrutinized in how they are administering this polity, in terms of how they are spending the money, why would they now want to be the ones who are in control of parliamentary
What
committees?
do you think that is?
Well, the idea is that when we started this parliament, we had a significant number of chairpersons of committees coming from the opposition, especially the Umbrella for Democratic Change. And but we have had the ruling party, dominating committees in terms of their numerical strength, even though this is an anomaly. The argument is that they have to be the majority in the committees, primarily because they are the ruling party, and that Botswana have decided to put them in charge. But you see, what they fail to understand is that they are the minority in terms of members of parliament eligible to serve in committees. They are 14 currently, and we are 20 on the other side. So who is supposed to be the majority in committees? Who is supposed to ordinarily be, chairpersons of committees? Do we expect the members of the ruling party to be, greatly provide scrutiny on basically their bosses as in ministers? I don't think that
Yes.
it was to be expected.
Yes.
But the idea was to frustrate oversight, obviously,
yes.
so that there is less scrutiny.
Yes.
Yeah.
Looking at the animosity in which you occupied the position of the leader of opposition, would you say you have been able to get the majority support from all the members of parliament from the opposition? Possibly as well as their parties.
Well, majority, yes, of course, they support our efforts in parliament. As I say, we have been in very good terms with the Alliance for Progressive and the Botswana Patriotic Front. We have been working together, as members of the opposition. So, and of course, remember how of course I ascended to office was as a result of the decision of the caucus to say we need somebody who can be, in terms of the standing orders, the leader of opposition is the chief spokesperson of the Umbrella for Democratic Change or the majority party after the ruling party, which is the UDC, is the chief spokesperson. So they sought to correct an anomaly where they thought that the party was inadequately represented in terms of its chief spokesperson in the parliament. Want somebody who will articulate the UDC manifesto, the UDC policies, the UDC's aspirations. So the decision was taken by members of parliament.
You not mentioned the Botswana Congress Party.
Well, there is no BCP in parliament. There is no BCP in parliament.
But we know that when the Botswana Congress Party was part of the Umbrella for Democratic Change, there are those members of parliament who by membership, party membership, they are from the Botswana Congress Party. I wanted to pick from you if those members of parliament support you.
Well, obviously the relationship will be different, but what we have been trying to do is to say on issues of mutual interest, we need to put our differences aside and work together as members of the opposition.
Has that been possible?
It has been possible in the sense that when you look at when we ask questions or when they ask questions, that category of MPs, and you get to see the supplementary questions either from our side or from their side, you'll realize that we are on the same page in terms of the idea of putting Botswana first. When it comes to motions, all motions from the opposition party, we have supported those motions. They have also supported us when we raised motions. On the bills, the private bills that we brought in parliament, they have supported those bills, and we have also supported their private bills. A case in point is the recently held special meeting on Constitution Amendment Bill 2024, where we worked together in making sure that we put Botswana's interest first.
Yes, yeah. The former leader of opposition, Dumela Salshando, would you say he has been supportive of you, looking at the fact that he was the leader of opposition and he took over him, and like I said, under those circumstances whereby the Botswana Congress Party was pulling out of the UDC?
Well, I think we are mature politicians. We appreciate that there are differences of opinions when it comes to how we look at things. And in this particular circumstance, there is a major difference in terms of our view that we shouldn't have dismembered the UDC. The UDC ought to have been a compact, the same way as when the BCP joined. I believe it was in 2017. So that is the major difference of opinion, that we think that the UDC is an electoral vehicle. It's Botswana's project that we need to work with to win state power. Not just to win state power, but also to change the people's lives.
Yes.
But in terms of his support in Parliament, as I'll go back to what I was saying earlier, that he has presented a private bill on electoral amendment bill. I'm one of those who supported the bill. I have presented motions before. I have debated. I have presented issues which he has supported in Parliament. So when we are in that coliseum, we are not there to fight against each other, but we are in that house to fight in the same corner against an enemy, which is the ruling party.
Yes, but Honorable Keorapetse, how would you describe your relationship with him? At least
it's a professional relationship. It has always been a professional relationship as a comrade. Personally, we have never had a close personal relationship where we could sit for a drink and discuss how I'm doing at my kettle post. No.
Have you ever felt like maybe possibly he might be feeling that you may have been used to topple him from the position?
Used by who? Used by who?
Yes.
I mean, it will obviously be a position that I think will, in my way, in my view, would be seeking to undermine my intelligence. I mean, I don't think I can be used politically. I've studied politics, Mr. Batenegi, and I've taught politics at the university. I've been a political activist from Form 4. That is when I became active politically, in terms of, trying to convince people to our side, in terms of being active in a political party. And I was 17 years of age by then. So you can imagine, I've served in the Central Committee for more than 10 years. And so I don't think anybody can come and use me to use your words.
Yes.
To do this or that way.
Yeah.
So I think that my loyalty lies with the people. And as I say, the UDC is a people's project. And when the people say, look, we need to remove this party which has been in power for 58 years.
Yes. Keorapetse, let's move forward, but I want to appreciate and understand from you, how was it easy or difficult to choose the Umbrella for Democratic Change over the Botswana Congress Party when they decided to, the political party decided to pull out of the coalition?
Yeah. As individuals, as politicians, we must not be loyal to other individuals or organizations per se. Yes, we must work in organizations. We must give our all to organizations. But the most important thing is that we must be loyal to principles. So that is the most important thing. So the principle here is that we had taken a decision that we need to be part of the Umbrella for Democratic Change, because the Umbrella for Democratic Change had proven that it is a viable entity that can remove the ruling party from power. Not only to do that, but to also, usher in a new order, because after every revolution is a new order. Yes. So, in being loyal to these principles, when an organization now decides to deviate, to detour from the principle, remain with the principle. Don't be swayed by the organization, because, and for the most part, when we say organization, we actually mean leadership, because those are the people that most of the time take decisions that you go in, yes, you go out, you go in, you go out.
You talk about not being loyal to an individual. Are you suggesting that there was somebody who was expecting that you be loyal to him?
No, there's generally an expectation that people must be loyal to their leaders. They must be loyal to organizations, which is a good thing. But I'm saying an overarching thing ought
leaders
to be,
in this case, meaning
ought to be loyalty to principles. So that is why you get people defecting from parties. Is because sometimes the party would have detoured from what would have been their principles. You ask many politicians, I think that's what they yes, will tell you. Yeah.
All right. So Dithapelo Lefoko, Keorapetse, leader of opposition in the National Assembly of Botswana, also a member of Parliament for Silibe Pico West Batenegi Parliament Talk Show, broadcasting live from the Access TV studios right here in Gaborone, Botswana. Remember, you can ask Keorapetse a question or comment during the show. Make sure that you also call us live to ask Keorapetse any question or comment during the show. We are going for a very short commercial break. When you come back, we continue with Keorapetse. Broadcasting live from the Access TV studios right here in Gaborone, Botswana, the Batenegi Parliament Talk Show. My name is Waheng Batenegi. Kuta stoppa sa me ka go ba mpolela gore la ngongare ga gore re tshoma thata re ta dirisa dipuo tsotlhe se go ga mmogo le Setswana ya ka ne ke tlhalosa ke na ha le raitso Dithapelo Lefoko Keorapetse re tswele le thulaganyo ya rona ha ne ke batla re o etsa monteng ene o bua hore there were some people who were expecting you that you possibly become loyal to leadership. I want to appreciate and understand from you, leadership in this case, who?
Well, I don't think it's a very helpful question, but you see, the thing is that I cannot during the day from morning during the day.
Some people believe that there is a rift
during the day. I cannot claim to be a member of the UDC in Parliament. Yeah. And the moment I step out of Parliament, I start, throwing insults at the UDC. To say UDC ke support or how do saying all manner of things, degrading the value of the UDC. That is why I'm talking about a principle, that if you have committed to be a member of, if you have committed to a principle of freeing Batu Mumukobing, Bapati Ebusa Ngena live more than 58, almost 58 years Ebusa. I mean, you cannot do that.
Yes.
Yes.
You suggesting that Red Milan Salashando and some other members of Parliament who are members of the Botswana Congress Party were being hypocritic.
Well, I can speak for myself. I can speak for myself. I could not stand on a platform and throw insults at the UDC when I got into Parliament through the UDC ticket.
Yes.
Ke UDC mo Parliament te Batswana ba ntopile ka UDC dumala ne nkokanye dumala ne re sena go na re consulta mo di regioning ne ke na le mme ke dumela re ke Daisy Bathusi re simolotse ko mahalapera phalapera go heta ka serwe ke rona ba le re tsogeletsa re le ko lethakane
yes
consulting members of the BCP on whether re ba utule sente ko kanye gore ba re go yo ko UDC, and that's exactly what they
yes.
told us.
So some people suggest that it was a matter of you choosing Comrade Duma Boko over
no, I chose the UDC. I didn't, as I say, I didn't choose Duma Boko. I chose the UDC. I chose a principle. Well, it's a coincidence that we are homeboys. Re tswa ko Mahalape, o tswa ka ha Thoseng, nna ke tswa ka ha go ha Kwanyana ka ha Mangwatu ka ha Madibatho Madithotse. So I think it's a coincidence that we are homeboys.
Yeah. But Keorapetse, what do you understand to be the reason of the Botswana Congress Party to move out of the UDC, according to your understanding?
Well, as I say, it's the question that you can ask my BCP, but I think they're on record in terms of why they left. I've got my own views.
Yes.
My own views are
and I want your own views.
Yes, my own views, because I was there, was that I think there was an expectation after the 2019 elections that Duma Boko will resign as president of the UDC, and then that his vice president, Resa Leshando, will rise to the.
Where did that expectation come from?
Well, as I say, I'm the member of the BCP, and I had interactions with various BCPs. There was suggestion from the Youth League that Duma Boko must resign because the party did not perform well during the 2019 elections, when we had a court case challenging the results of the elections, and our posture at the time as an organization was that no, nothing of the sort of cheating happened during our elections, and I don't think it was appropriate. The Youth League, as I said, they called for Duma Boko to resign, and all manner of things. Started people saying UDC, Hon.Dithapelo, how you congressing. People who were in the National Executive Committee of the UDC without an election, and knowing very well that the UDC was in the process of reforming its constitution. The UDC was in the process of, addressing that particular aspect.
Yes.
Yeah. But they were too impatient, and they wanted Duma Boko out.
Yes. Are you saying the Botswana Congress Party, and by extension, its president, Comrade Dumela Salishando, were positioning themselves to take, total control of the leadership of the UDC? Well,
that was as I say, the expectation and the wish was that Boko would have resigned and then paved the way for his vice president.
Yes. So you feel like this was an excuse, the issue of the UDC not holding elections?
Well, for me, I mean, if you are a party that can expel 5 members of parliament without giving them a hearing, you think you have any moral ground to say that you are more democratic than any other person. I was expelled without a hearing. I got a suspension letter where I was told that the charges against me will be sent to me. I never received a single charge. The next letter was a dismissal letter, where I was told that I was kicked out of the BC.
And your suspension was imposed by the Botswana Congress Party conference, am I correct?
No. The suspension was from the Central Committee, or the executive, because the letter I think was signed by the party
expulsion
by the party chairman.
That was the expulsion endorsed by the conference that held at Mahalape of the
yes, of course. But as I say, Audial Tarampatem, where was the basic principle of hear the other side? Yeah, they may well have had good reasons. But a basic democratic principle is that hear the other side. You cannot expel 5 members of parliament without giving them a hearing. You get my point.
So according to you, the Botswana Congress Party were not wrong to call for elections within the umbrella for democratic change. Your position is just that they did not have the moral authority because they also did not, according to you, give you a fair chance.
No. What I'm saying is that, when you exude an attitude of a superior virtue, in some parlance they will say, when you throw stones and you live in a glass house. I mean, there are so many things that people ask about.
So the BCP are not
about
within the UDC.
No. The wrongness. You see, it matters gore o bua dikgang ko kae. Mongokile a bua gore ha re motho maka we don't necessarily say that motho wa ba sa bua nnete. Ha ngwa ba bua nnete kwa se tshwanang gore o ka e buela teng. So now, if only member of the National Executive Committee of the UDC, and you are responsible for championing the review of the constitution of the UDC, and then you point a finger and say, this organization, which I'm part of, which I'm even a member, which I'm even a part of its leadership, why would you do that? Why not get inside and talk these things inside? Why not fulfill your responsibility or champion the reform of the constitution of the UDC?
You are talking about Redumela Salshand.
I'm talking about leaders who stood on a platform and held profanities against the UDC, degraded the value of the UDC, and said all manner of things against the Umbrella for Democratic Change. When they were in the leadership of the Umbrella for Democratic Change, when they were supposed to be the chief spokespersons of the Umbrella for Democratic Change, and you want to tell me that that's how organizations should function? UDC cannot condone lawlessness. It couldn't condone lawlessness. If I had done so, my expectation was that the UDC ought to have taken action against it.
Honorable Keorapetse, I want to appreciate and understand from you, has there ever any point whereby Redumela Salshando, as the president of the Botswana Congress Party, called you as the Umbrella for Democratic Change members of parliament who are members of the Botswana Congress Party and set you down to say, look, can you help me remove Comrade Duma Boko from the presidency of the Umbrella for Democratic Change?
No, there was never such a meeting. I just remember one meeting, I think it was a GICC, where one of the members of parliament from the Northwest, UDC member of parliament from the Northwest, asked Redumela Salshando Hore.
You're talking about Kenika Pinga?
No, I'm not talking about Kenika Pinga. To be precise, I think it was Honorable Kainangura Hikwam.
Hikwam, yes.
Yeah, he asked a question. We see the hands hore totahela o tshwantse o tse o take over from Reduma Boko. Are you aware of these sentiments?
Sentiments by who?
Within the BCP. Are you aware of those sentiments? And if you are aware, what have you done about them? Because I can't go into details, but he expressed his misapprehension. So I can khona le batho ba neng ba dumela gore Reboko a tsogotsena Redumela Salshando ha ke go bolelle matsamekwane because I grew up in that party. I know the sentiments it's ka ha di neng di buiwa ka teng. But kana ha re le ko when we were still before 2022 July, a lot of things were happening, and which we had briefed the NEC about. Harna di caucus UDC instead of di caucus BCP, but there was no BCP in parliament. How to run by election, by BCP, you contribute to a candidate who will be a UDC candidate, but a member
did you attend?
A member of the BCP. I attended because I was a member of the BCP. But my loyalty to principles were that I know the by elections. And I had to know nama parliament the member as a BCP contribute along a candidate well on had to give BCP candidate Melahara Naga UDC. I will contribute, but I will also contribute towards a candidate well on Enekwa UDC, maybe from a different political party. As I say, for me, it's a principled position.
Did you ever ask any questions why that was happening?
Of course. We've always asking questions. Remember, as I say, my activism, I started when I was 17 years old. I can't look at things going wrong and not ask questions. Yeah, when I see things going wrong, I will ask questions.
Yes.
And I was asking questions
Yes.
during those times.
Keorapetse, going back to your choice of the Umbrella for Democratic Change.
And the main crux of the interview. And
No,
I thought
really.
that was not going to be the
No,
case.
not
Yeah.
really.
No, it's okay. That's fine.
You choosing the Umbrella for Democratic Change over the Botswana Congress Party. Do you feel, the leadership of the Botswana Congress Party possibly feel betrayed by you?
Well, you can ask them what their feeling is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But some are so civil that they understand that this was a difference of opinion on a political matter. And they are civil enough to sit down with me, break bread with me, even find out if I'm doing well on a personal space. There are those. But those that obviously there will be those who hold a different view. Yeah. So, but it's unfortunate if they can look at this as a betrayal. My view, as I say, is that I talked to the people of Pikwe, including majority of the councillors that we won under UDC in Pikwe West. They thought, look, this is the way we need to go.
Yes.
Yeah.
2014, when you went to Parliament for the very first time, you took over a constituency that was previously held by Re Gilson Salashana.
Yeah.
Have you ever had, a word with him? Not that it was necessary for you to do so. I just want to, check if you.
Well, I respect. I respect him as a conversation. Yeah. I respect him as a veteran.
Choosing UDC over the Botswana Congress Party.
Yeah, I respect him as a veteran. And as I say, when I made that decision, I've had extensive discussions with so many people in the party, both the UDC, both the BCP, and even those that are not politically aligned, in terms of what really the principle will dictate that the route. So, yeah.
Yes. Currently, the opposition parties are finding it very difficult to get under, one roof, as some people, possibly will like.
Yeah.
Okay, not that is written that, opposition parties should always be under one coalition, but we are finding a situation whereby you guys are trying, but you are finding it, very difficult. Your opinion, what could be the...
Yeah, we cannot stop trying. Yeah. And we cannot also obliterate the fact that if you take a key member of the Umbrella for Democratic Change, which is the Botswana National Front, was formed primarily for the sole objective of removing the BDP from power and ushering in a new order. So that is why when the UDC leader says BNF is a natural leader, is a natural leader, when they know very well that he's talking about a historical imperative, the Botswana National Front, when it was formed with the sole aim of joining the political party,
speaking to the front.
So yes, and speaking to the front aspect,
name of
the BNF, which is why it's a key aspect of the Umbrella for Democratic Change, and we have this entity PDP mo puso. There will be challenges on the way, as we can see that we have had challenges. In 2014, the BCP was not part of. In 2019, it was part of the UDC. We are going to 2024. They want out.
Right.
We are now with the AP. We are now with the BPP and the BNF and so many ex-BCP members. Yeah.
Leader of opposition, Hon.Dithapelo Keorapetse, also a member of Parliament for CDB Pikwe West, Batenegi Parliament talk show. Hona le potso khotsa ka khelo o ka romela jalo our platforms Batenegi Parliament as well as Access TV. Wa ka hartswa ka tibertswala jalo le thulaganyo.
mo ditori tse di serious head on with Mdalakachi ka tatu le batho ba mo lehatsi
minister ba thopiwa ina ma specially elected bangwe ba promotiwa ina the head or the director kae le kae the permanent secretary go bo go ke women, that's not women, is in fact an insult to women.
Ke thola ke ra batho ke re masisi ke tsala yana and ke tana ke rialo he
moruti ga gona moruti wa boammaaruri yo kolobeditsweng ka mo boitshepo yo joiners politiki baruti bothe ba ba joiners politiki mo Botswana ba ta re itshwarela bothe ga se baruti ba boammaaruri
re masisi a tswe mo vice president ake anga ka bua gore ke bo mang ne ba rialo because bona go ba teba tsa gore wa re senyetsa ke re
me kgang ya gore Masisi must resign e se motsa ka bo morwae
Mothetso me ke bua ke go amogela mo thulaganyong ya Batenegi at Parliament Talk Show ha le gore ke gone o inakanya le thulaganyo ya rona moeteledipele wa kganetso ko parlamenteng ya Botswana ra Hon.Dithapelo lefoko Keorapetse go tlogela gape gore ke mo parlamente wa kgaolo ele ya Silbe Phikwe bophirima ke ne le gore ke na le ene mo tsatsing la gompieno re Keorapetse re tswele le thulaganyo ya rona ha me re tsena mo thulaganyo ya rona e ana ra re hetela go di kgaolo go tota go di kganya tse di amana le kgaolo ya gago ke tsa gore le ba ile gore gongwe ba ka tswa ile gore gongwe kana ga ba go rate le gore ba ba sa go rate ke tsona sa re ba nthui ba kana ka ba ntati gongwe ba ka dumalana gore gongwe o dirile go tala ka diata ha go ta mo dikganyeng tse di amana le go tswala ga moepo wa BCL o buditse dipotso ko parlamenteng o tsentse ditshutiso ga kitse go ka wena mo nakong ya gompieno le mo parlamente wa Silbe Phikwe West o ka re where are we at this particular junction, where are we going o ka ra o pe leng gore o na bereka mo moepong wa BCL e leng gore wa amilwe ke go tswala ga moepo wa BCL o re
well gone go boammaaruri ntwa BCL ke lo le thata re Batenegi nna ke itumella gore boammaaruri ke bo buile mo parlamenteng ha go tswala moepo wa BCL ke na ka tlhalosa gore nya this is a monumental mistake ke phoso go tswala ga moepo wa BCL ke ne ke bua gore at the time the nickel was selling at $4 per pound copper I think was maybe about $3 or less per pound but now we are talking about a commodity that is selling at about $8 per pound nickel and copper selling at around $5 per pound. So it was a monumental mistake to close the mine. The resource is depleted. I demonstrated through figures in Parliament. The resource is there. The ore is there. So premium nickel resources, they have done drillings on the ground. They have done underground drillings. There is ore deposits, nickel and copper and other credits around that area. So at least I've demonstrated against all odds there is future of mining in Silbe Phikwe in that parliament when everybody else especially on the other side of the aisle they sought to spread a message that totari tobogenka the future of mining in Phikwe. So but unfortunately babereki ba pele ba BCL ga ba ka ba duelwa ka ha neng ke soletse ka teng gore ba ta duelwa le ka nne government a promise ka teng 12 to 18 months gore ba ta duelwa that didn't happen. They were paid salary ya kgwedi, they were paid leave days ba ba neng ba na le di leave but banks and other creditors they decided gore ba tse madi a bona. More than 300 people close to 300 people have been put under civil imprisonment for failure to pay debts in Phikwe since BCL was closed. The national figure is more than 460 per annum since President Masisi ascended to the high office of president. So we are talking more than 2,000 people. So ke khantse ke di buile ko parlamente gore ke le sa duele batho madi a bone ba tswe mo dikolotong ba khona re ba itsimolele botshelo sesha. They were about to be kicked out of Mantu recently, and ke tsentse tshutiso ko parlamenteng ke kwaletse office of the president ke kwaletse minister wa minerals gore no we can't let the town become desolate by rentsha batho mo Mantu. Ke sone government ana hela tsere tshotso ya gore me a reke Mantu a BCL le ha ile gore o gana go bua gore tota mme a reng because babereki ba pele ba BCL ba nthumile go parlamenteng gore nna re eletsa go reka Mantu a ka dithwathwa tse di bonolo ka a special package e ka nna rent to buy e ka nna lena no le lena le motswako wa Batenegi e ka nna metswakonyana eno ya bosha me hela bana ba at subsidized figures.
Yeah, bangwe ba re no ithokomolosa wena le ba bangwe gore gone mme moepo wa BCL no gopela goromente no tsa madi a mantsi mo goromente ba re no madi ntse ene gore no di thokomolosa.
And I have demonstrated. I have asked a question to Rema Tambo, as he then was Minister of Finance and Development Planning. Rema Tambo go le parlamente gore mo dingwageng tse di kana BCL e kila hiwa madi a kae. And he was clear that there was no money from the Consolidated or Development Fund which was sent to BCL. Of course, the royalties, and so on and so forth. But in terms of year in, year out, BCL, it's false. I have asked that question in Parliament, and the former minister was actually, went on record to say no. Within that period, I even demonstrated before BCL was, collapsed in 2016. I think 2 or so years before, government actually took more than $1 billion from BCL. I said that in Parliament, demonstrated that no, you actually took money from BCL.
Why was the money closed?
So you see, you cannot let Batubale 15,000 more strategy, 5,000 directly employed. 10,000 indirectly employed.
Why was the mine closed?
No, well, the mine kana government to bilema bagamenti. Bana bare nickel at the king, the Norilski. Never bakolota Norilski as BCL. Like BCL ne unwa government. Bana bare no kana Norilski hakarisa court. Eka taya liquidate ibe tsaya sengwe le sengwe. But it later emerged from the records that actually that deal of Norilski, of BCL buying Komati for South Africa, was a deal that never was. So there was no debt.
Right.
The main reason we were told for closure of BCL was that there was a debt of close to 3 billion. And it later emerged that there was actually no debt.
Lekgotla le ke ke kare ke lekgotla kana is an organization la Silbepico diversification
yes
speed ke tsa gore ha le gore ke go gola sente ga le dirwane gote le direla gona gore can diversify the lives of
the economy of people away from mining.
Of course, away from mining. Jano ha le gore re ne re dile ka lekgotla le video kgotsa mo gopolo video speed me be re bua re tswala moepo batho matshelo a bonantsa well, people say, I think maybe I was more audible ka BCL, but there are a lot of things that I have raised in Parliament. Hon.Dithapelo has decided to take advantage of clauses in the SACU and other trade agreements and clauses to protect the infant industries. I proposed in Parliament for uniforms, protective clothing, corporate wear. Filling station, all these uniforms. Personal protective clothing, the mining. School uniforms school. As a missive for an agreed duration so that textile companies steady go pick. The manufacturer uniform. One government responded by issuing a statutory instrument. Last year.
o respondile ka go tswala uniform tunic, you know, the shirt tsone tse di tshweu tsa bana tse di blue marukgwa a ma-grey a rekiswang go bo Pepper Cummins and all these other shops. And they get okay, they have partly answered the plea ya batho ba phikwe ba intumile. They have not answered the PPEs, they have not answered the corporate wear, so that we can have this boom ya textile industry. So SPEDU is meant to facilitate investment ko phikwe, both foreign investment and domestic investment. I've argued in parliament it's important that we focus on domestic investment. There are beng high adikgwebo tsa bone di thabololwe di eme ka dinao itshulelo e tswe mo diateng tsa batswakwa and naturalized citizens.
So SPEDU was not a deliberate project.
So SPEDU as a
diversify the lives of the people or the economy.
Well, the idea was that it will diversify.
You know, mine closed.
Yeah, the idea was that it will diversify the economy away from mining, and it has failed in that regard, in the sense that the town's economy remained undiversified until the mine was closed. And in terms of job creation, SPEDU na le incentives. The main ones are three. One is that government commits to 30% of take. Gore ha Batenegi a bula factory e dira metsi, government will buy 30% ya metsi a Batenegi